Good morning, yogis. Nice to see you. So I'm going to take you through just a short little warm up to get that body moving first thing in the morning. So let's get going. I'm going to start off on all fours. So align your hands in underneath the shoulders, knees in underneath your hips, and just take a flexion of that spine. Draw the pelvis under, round through that back, lower the head, look back between your legs. And then reversing that, lifting the tailbone, pressing the belly down, pressing the chest forward. Encourage those shoulders back and lifting the chin. Good, repeating that, firming up through the hands, pressing into the hands as you draw the pelvis and head towards one another. And then you send them away from one another. Just continuing with this, just thinking about your upper arm bones, rotating outwards, the inner elbows moving forward. And start from the base of your spine, ripple up through the spine so the head's last of all to move. Good. Just finishing off with your arching of the back and then bring yourself back to a neutral position. From here, tuck underneath your toes, take your sitting bones back towards your heels and then float your knees off the floor. Squeeze your abdominal muscles in towards your spine so you're firing up into your abdominals. Just keeping that neck long and then lower those knees down. Keeping the toes tucked, breathe in, prepare. Breathe out, just float the knees off the floor, energizing into the hands. Just watch you're not dumping that weight into the wrists. Supported through those shoulders, nice shoulder stability. And then lowering those knees down. We'll do that one more time. There should be a little bit of heat building. You should be getting a little bit warmer. Floating those knees off, obviously with the toes tucked. Keeping the strain out of the neck, hovering those knees, engaging into those thigh muscles, engaging into the glutes. And then from here, lifting the tailbone, lifting the knees, releasing the heels down towards the earth as you find yourself in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Here, have a little pedal through the legs and releasing through the backs of your legs. Releasing one heel and then the other heel. And then bend both knees in towards your chest. Find that fold at the crease of your hips and that long lengthened back body. Rooting the heels down back towards the earth. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Coming into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Just releasing your hands wherever they comfortably release. Lifting the tailbone nice and high. Keeping your hips aligned over your ankles. And then we'll come up to standing, soften through the knees, pull the weight into the feet, through the legs, rolling up through the spine, head to come up last, and then rolling those shoulders back and round. Let's do a little bit of work into those shoulders. So taking your shoulders up towards the ears, taking them forward, taking them back, taking them up, and just circling through that shoulder girdle. And if this feels okay for you, you might like to place the hands onto the shoulders, or even invite the whole arm to come in and take those full circular movements. Just making sure you've got space around you. Last one. And let's change direction. Shrug the shoulders up towards your ears. Roll those shoulders back. Slide them into your back pockets. Good. And again, taking them forward, taking them up, taking it back. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards one another, dropping them down and bringing them forward again. Just ensure that your weight is equal between both feet. You can take the hands to the shoulders and circle those elbows round, or you can invite the whole arm to take over. So big circular movements. Lovely. And last one. Good. And just allowing those shoulders to draw and release down towards the floor. Just take a little turn of the head from side to side, just a couple of times. The neck's fairly flexible for most of us. And next time your head comes back to face front, just drop the ear to the shoulder, lift that head up, and then take it over to the other side. Just a couple of times each side, warming up into that neck. And then bring that back to stillness. We're going to step the feet together, bend the knees. I'm going to circle those knees around several times one way and several times the other way. Good. And then just gently, easily bring yourself back up to standing. Rest your hands on your hips. Step just a little back with one foot. I'm going to rotate through the ankles. You're rolling the ankle round, resting on the ball of the foot and the toes. Change direction. And see if you can get that movement to work all the way up the leg. Good. And change feet. So step the foot you had back forward and step the other foot back. And just taking the ankle round several times round one way. And then several times the other way. Try and keep the part of your body that's supporting you as stable as possible. Good. Let's bring our feet back in underneath the joints of our hips. Let's take a side stretch. Take the arms up over the shoulders, reaching those fingers away. Then we're going to lean towards that left side. So we've got to stretch through that right side of the body. Breathe in, come up, and breathe out. Take a side stretch over towards the other side. Inhaling, coming up, and then taking those arms down. Let's take a forward fold. Nod the head, see, curve the upper back, rolling down into a forward fold. Resting your hands wherever they comfortably rest. And then roll yourself back up to standing, restacking the bones of the vertebrae. Step your feet a little distance apart, a little bit wider than your shoulders. Toes out turned, bending the knees, taking helicopter pose. Just swinging those arms around from side to side. You can give the lower back a little tap, or you might want to make it a little bit more vigorous and swing those arms around and take it to the opposite shoulder. And just using the heel of your hand to just work into the muscle at the top of your back. And if you want to close your eyes and just enjoy this sense of freedom, please do. And then very gently starting to slow that down. Don't come to a sudden stop, take your time. Good, and then realign your feet back in underneath your hips. So we've warmed ourselves up nicely. You can use that as a warm-up first thing in the morning, or you can use it as a preparation for another class.